What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I know it's been a few days since we've been live. Welcome back. I missed y'all, man. Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakely podcast. Of course, I am your host, Brandon Blakely, aka Brandon Lee TV, and I got another banger for you. So, man, y'all kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me. We got the news earlier today, of course. Lynn Dunn, former GM of the Indiana Fever, has officially been relieved of duties and got a promotion, shockingly. Very shocked by that after the decisions that were made during the tenure there as GM. But I wanted to talk to you guys and get a vibe, get a feel on one, breaking down some potential candidates for this job that the Fever should consider, and two, who would be your preference? You know, who are we missing from the list as well? So we'll get into it. We'll give people a few minutes to get in. But welcome in, welcome in. Thank you so much for locking in with me. And you're welcome in, man. We gotta talk about this move for the Indiana Fever. Who is the right person to upgrade this roster, guys? I got a couple candidates in mind that we'll go through and, weigh the pros, cons, and kind of break down their resumes a little bit. So we'll get into it. But y'all let me know, man, who do y'all think is the choice to upgrade this roster? We got to talk about what moves need to be made. We'll have another live later talking about free agency targets for this organization as well. But yeah, we got to talk about it, man. I think there are a few names that should be considered. So, first off, Cheryl Miller. I know she has been linked to be the next head coach as well. Could she just make the jump to GM, though? With Lynn Dunn gone, is there more pressure now on Christie side? Does that hot seat get a little spicier now? She doesn't have Lynn Dunn in her corner, the person that brought her into Indiana, the person that gave her that security, that job security, that begged her basically to come to the Indiana Fever and take over this organization. Now, I know Cheryl Miller, people that were calling for Coach Saad's jobs wanted to see Cheryl Miller jump in and take over the coaching, but maybe she should be considered as a GM candidate for this group as well. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. I mean, as far as just a basketball IQ from that standpoint, from her ability to manage talent. We saw her do an extraordinary job coaching the women's all-star team, WNBA all-star team, and leading them to a victory over the Olympic team. And they just pulled Cheryl Miller off the street and gave her a loaded roster and said, yo, go beat Team USA, who's been practicing together for months. So we know her understanding of the game is next level. We know that she has an eye for talent and the capability of maybe upgrading this roster. Guys, welcome in, welcome in. If you're just joining, welcome into the Live with Brandon Blakely podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Brandon Blakely, aka Brandon Lee TV. If it is your first time, make sure to hit that subscribe button, comment, like, share, all that good stuff. We are breaking down tonight potential candidates for the new GM role with the Indiana Fever, with, Lynn Dunn getting that promotion and being relieved of her duties. This is going to be a very, I think, thorough search. They have to get this decision right because this team is ready to win now, but they do need a couple of upgrades, and they need someone that understands the game, that understands how to nurture talent, to deal with players. On top of that, picking the right pieces. This is going to be big in free agency. This is going to be a big offseason for the Fever to upgrade this roster. Now, we've talked about potential free agents, and I'll do that on another live this weekend where we'll dive into more free agency targets. But this GM, whoever they choose, if it is Cheryl Miller, someone that has a championship pedigree, that has had success on every level of basketball, that is a hot commodity within the players, I think she could get free agents to come to Indiana. Y'all let me know. That would be one choice for me. I think Cheryl Miller makes a great case just from her relationships in the women's game, the respect that she has, the knowledge of the game, her being able to relate with Caitlin and already building that rapport with Caitlin. who is the most important person on this in this franchise right now. The one that's carrying the most weight right now. She already has that rapport with Caitlyn as a mentor. She's coached her. She understands what it's like to be a generational talent. So I think that's major, just having that relationship, that rapport with Caitlyn already. I'm sure she would be thrilled with this hire. I know people have mentioned her being the next head coach if Coach Christie Sods can't get her act together. So I know that is still a possibility, but even in a GM role, she would be extremely valuable in my opinion. So that would be my case for Cheryl Miller. And if you're just joining, we'll go through it again. We can still, we'll circle back. We'll circle back. I'll make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop it in the chat. Let me know how y'all feel about these choices. Speaking of building a rapport, now I know Coach Lisa Bluter has renounced coaching. But a GM role could be way less stressful, way less taxing, and still offer her maybe that flexibility to spend time with that family. She's been away from the game just a little bit. But, I mean, we've seen she's been extremely active around the Indiana Fever organization. At the least, I would say they could get her in a consulting role. But we talked about the potential hire having that chemistry, having that rapport with Caitlyn. Coach Bluter does not want to coach anymore. She's made that obvious. A GM role, though, she could be extremely valuable, knowing exactly the pieces to put around Caitlin Clark and this roster. I mean, she could bring in a mob, and we could see maybe a lot of former Iowa players coming in there. Hey, you know, that might be the key to them getting K Martin to Indiana, as so many people have wanted to see. That might be the key. Maybe they get Megan Gustafson, like it turns into an Iowa Hawkeye reunion. But her negotiating free agents, trying to build talent, trying to upgrade this roster, I think would be great. She understands the play style that they're moving. She understands the culture in Indiana, not being too far from Iowa. I think Lisa Bluter would be a great asset for this organization, even if it's not a GM, just in like a consulting role. I think it would be really beneficial to have her. But she understands Caitlyn's game. She's been around this franchise. She's also another name with years, decades of experience, a great basketball IQ, just like Cheryl Miller, understands every aspect of the game. And maybe she is the one to upgrade this roster. Because guys, this is going to be a major offseason for the Indiana Fever. They need a 3-and-D wing. They need another big that's elite on the glass. Excuse me. They need a backup point guard. There's a lot of upgrades that need to be made. And Coach Lisa Bluter has an eye for talent. She recruited and developed a lot of unheralded players at Iowa. RC, welcome in, welcome in. She's obviously got an eye for talent. She turned Iowa into a national powerhouse. We got to put some respect on Bluter's name. I know she doesn't want to coach. And I think being a GM for this organization, though, or even being just a consultant, an analyst for this group, I think would be major. And I think it would go a long way with Caitlyn as well. Y'all let me know. Holler at me in the comments, though. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, comment, like, share if this is your first time within the Lava Brandon Blakeney podcast. Of course, I am your host, Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. And hey, follow us at Brandon Lee TV on social media. Right now, if you're just joining, we are going over potential candidates for the GM job with the Indiana Fever. Let me know. Let me know. Talk to me in the comments. Yeah, I saw that she got hired as the chief operating officer. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, guys. Oh man, y'all put me on the spot. I'm gonna do a little bit of editing. Y'all, hey, good call though, y'all. Good call. We gotta get a poll up. All right, welcome in, welcome in. I know I see some people talking about what if uh like the hot seat now that they do have Amber Cox in that new CEO role, will new GM Amber Cox make the decision to bring Christie Sods back? Will Christie Sods be the next WNBA coach fired? We saw Atlanta, we saw LA. Coaches getting let go every day. Get a poll up. If you are the Fever, are you giving Christy Sods another year? Did she do enough to really keep her job? That is the question I have for y'all. Leroy says she's going back to high school. I know Lisa Bluter has said that she doesn't want to coach, but she has steady been at all the Fever home games, man. But do y'all feel like Sods did enough to keep her job? I mean, I will say this team over exceeded expectations, but was she truly the reason why? Like, I just don't see her as a developer of talent. But I've kind of stood on the hill that if they made the playoffs, that she would get another year. But with the new GM, with the new GM, that's where things get interesting. What could be the motivation there? Now, honestly, man, Sods, I think, got better throughout the season. But the rotations, the in-game adjustments, I mean, she never really made any adjustments during the playoffs, to be honest with y'all. Getting some of the comments. Like, will this new GM keep Sods on the sidelines? Could she be the next fired head coach with this new GM in place? I mean, just looking at like I'm just reading a little bit about the new CEO. She was with the Dallas Wings, of course, we know, and we're expecting some changes. Is she the right person to upgrade this roster? We know they need a 3-and-D wing. This team needs a rebounding big. This team needs a backup point guard. But just know the Fever organization said this about Amber. This is from one of the head people. I have known Amber for over 20 years and have watched her successfully build teams both on and off the court. last month as the team's president for business and basketball operations. So the president of business and basketball operations says she brings a wide range of the Fever says she brings a wide range of executive experience to our leadership team. I look forward to working with her as we build the Fever into the next era of growth. Hey man, look, this is a potential dynasty that they have on their hands. This is a potential dynasty they have on their hands right now. They have to get all these decisions right, man. Guys, welcome in. We're talking about this new GM. Will Coach Christie Sides do enough to keep her job? Will this new GM move into another direction? Cox said about joining the Fever, I am excited to be joining the Fever during this historic time in the WNBA, and I am grateful to Kelly, Fever ownership, and Mel Raines for this opportunity. From the top down, there is a commitment to invest in the Fever to ensure the team's continued growth and success. I look forward to contributing to a world-class experience for our fans as well as our players, both on and off the court. Lynn Dunn, people have been calling for the firing of Lynn Dunn for quite some time. Now we have Amber Cox in the hot seat. Not even the hot seat, just in the control. The wheel, she's behind the wheel now, running this organization. There are some key moves that need to be had. We know, like I said, they need to be targeting a big. Maybe they go from Nike Aguamake. Maybe they go for Isabel Harrison. There needs to be a move made, though. They need to get a big. Maybe they try to go for Atlanta Deladon, who's not going to be a free agent, but just somebody that they could really upgrade this roster right now. They need somebody else to play that four. Satu Sabali was another name that has been mentioned, 6'4", that would be a great replacement for Nalissa Smith. Definitely got to get a backup point guard and a 3-and-D wing. You know, Dejanay Carrington's supposed to be a free agent as well. Maybe that's somebody you go out and look at. You definitely have to upgrade the wing, though, of 3-and-D to put somebody next to Lexi Hall. Also, got to find a backup point guard. Desperately need a backup point guard. And then, of course, the most important thing, with all due respect, is they have to, without a doubt, bring Kelsey Mitchell back and give her that supermax. Now, I made a video earlier. Y'all might have saw it. She kind of admitted almost, I think gave us an inside scoop that she will be staying with the Indiana Fever, when she said she will always be in Caitlin's backcourt. So definitely go check that video out where I talked about it earlier today. But they got to throw her that supermax. Get Kelsey Mitchell signed long term. That has to be the first decision made by this new GM, whatever it takes. And I know Lynn Dunn in the exit interview said that the main priority was definitely getting Kelsey Mitchell signed. So I know they're going to be looking to do that, but it seems like Kelsey Mitchell is happy there. Why would she leave? You know, you've been with this franchise your entire career. You've been the franchise player. You've seen the ups. You've seen the downs. More so downs before Caitlin and Aaliyah Boston got there. You're getting all the shots you absolutely want. You're comfortable in Indiana. The fans love you. The organization values you. You're getting all the shots that you want. You're playing with the best point guard in the league, who's finding you with transition, who's making life easier for you, who's getting open shots for you. You're in a perfect position to continue to flourish at the beginning of this dynasty. You're still the number one option. Not the most popular player, not the face of the franchise, but still the most productive scorer on the team, the number one option, the closer, the spark plug for this group. They gotta get Kelsey back into the fold. This backcourt this franchise as a whole is extremely dependent on the development of this backcourt. The chemistry is there. She's been a team player. You know, from the video, you can see that she really has genuine love for Caitlin Clark, and it seems like has kind of developed into a big sister of sorts. But let me catch up in the comments. Welcome in, welcome in. Top Gun, welcome in, my guy. RC in the building, Leroy, Pug Dad, what's up, Jerva? That's the thing too. How much input would Caitlyn get if Sods is fired? How much input could she possibly have? Now, looking at like some candidates, Cheryl Miller, I think would absolutely be a candidate. I think maybe the top candidate. Maybe the top candidate. Oh, how I put a poll up and I ain't even. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me one moment. Let me fix this poll. We gotta get a poll up. Did Christie Sides do enough to keep her job? Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, all that good stuff. Follow us on social media at Brandon Lee TV. You guys could be anywhere else on this beautiful Friday night. And you chose to be here with me. I appreciate it. Alright, there's the poll. I'm leaving it up to y'all. Did Christie Sides do enough to keep her job? And if, in fact, if Mrs. Cox decides to let her go, who would be the top replacement y'all want to see? I felt like Sods has been a liability. Her decision making, her lack of adjustments have all been very deterring, in my opinion. He has been a crutch for this team, man. Her shortcomings as a coach have cost this team's games. I think we could have saw the Fevers win 5 to 8 more games with a competent head coach. I do think that she got better throughout the year, but then again, could you really get any worse? That's all I'm saying. Could you really get any worse than what she was doing? Get Coach Sods up there. I'm leaving it up to y'all. Bro, 86% hell no is insane. Yo, Bible boy, welcome in, my guy. We've been away from the lives for a little bit, but you know I got y'all locked in. I got y'all covered. Come on now. Yo, Stewie for MVP. That's how we feeling? Stewie Finals MVP. Yeah, she been out playing Asia. I'm not gonna hold you. 88% of y'all. So the beef with Sods, obviously, it's the lackluster coaching. She's average. Caitlin Clark News, welcome in, welcome in. We've seen LA fire their coach. We've seen Atlanta fire their coach. Now the Fever are much better, in a much better position and had way more success. You know, the LA was terrible. Atlanta was up and down. They got a lot of talent. But I would say both of those coaches were better coaches than Christie Sides. I mean, we saw her lose her composure and get the tech. It was cool for her to finally fight for these players. But it was like the Caitlin Clark isolation at the beginning of the season was weird. The fact that for more than half the season, Christy Wallace was starting. She was literally one of the worst guards in the entire league and ate up hella minutes in the beginning of the season. Like, she waited too late, I think, to make adjustments in the starting lineup. You wait till the last game of the season, basically, with everything on the line when your backs are against the wall and you finally make the decision to insert Timmy into the starting lineup over Melissa Smith, who had been playing terrible, who had been giving you nothing for games. We saw Christy Sides pull a Tom Thibodeau and completely run Caitlin Clark as well as Kelsey Mitchell into the ground this year. It was times where they literally did not get off the court most games. They played an entire 40 minutes. And I think the fatigue definitely caught up with them and was one of the reasons why they got swept against the Connecticut Sun. Lack of depth. Erica Wheeler wasn't given much. She never gave Grace Berger a chance. She never gave Celeste Taylor a chance. 2 players. She never really gave Vivian Saxton a chance. 3 players that really could have helped this roster. I think she did a bad job of managing Dantas. How does Dantas go off in the first game, getting buckets off the bench, hitting threes, opening things up, and then you play her 12 minutes, another game, like back to back? insane to me. I think the lineups were just terrible. The decision making, the lackluster effort to really make adjustments, the missed opportunities to call timeouts, the blowing of leads, y'all. The blowing of big leads. How many games were the Fever winning by double digits? And Christie Size had her third quarter collapse and completely just blew these leads. Not really setting up many plays for Caitlin for majority of the year, having her go ISO ball, then taking the ball out of her hands for long stints of time, and having her sit in the corner, trying to play through the post the entire game early in the season and midway through the season. I mean, I think if anything, the post All Star break fever may save Christie Side's job, but she definitely should be on the hot seat. Candy, welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, I don't see Melissa Smith coming back. Accent, welcome in, says they cannot keep Sods. Kurt Miller and Sabali both worked together with the new chief operating officer. Yep, in Dallas and general manager Amber Cox for several years. And I mean, so that's another thing, right? Does does this mean now? Does this mean now? Does this new GM coming from Dallas? Does this give the Fever a better chance of landing Satu Sabali? Sound like another poll. Does this give them another chance to land her? A better chance, I should say. Because that was a very valid point. I like that. Very valid point. Having that chemistry, having that familiarity there, I think she would be the best free agent fit for this group. Does this help their chances now? And when you're talking about Satu, I mean, 6'4", nimble, can shoot the three, can get it off the dribble, plays defense, is a great fit for the culture, great fit for the locker room, a major upgrade at the forward spot compared to Nalissa Smith. You don't ever hear anybody questioning Satu's effort out there. Now, the health was definitely an issue this year. But the commitment to basketball and not having that drama in the locker room, having her shooting ability. I mean, that if they landed her, bro, that would honestly be the best probably offense in the league. She averaged 17.9 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 5 assists with 1.3 steals and a block this season. She also shoots the three 45%. She shoots 45.2% from the three. Having a four that can open, like y'all know how many open threes Nalissa Smith missed this year. Y'all remember how many open threes Samuelson missed this year? You bring in Sabali, and that is going to change things completely. That would be such an upgrade at the four for this team, man. So I will leave that to the chat as well. We'll get another poll up. But does that connection that Amber Cox is bringing from Dallas, does this help the chance of the Fever to realistically land? Because everybody's been saying she's going to go join her sister in New York, but having a familiar face goes a long way. And if she came to the Fever, she's going to get open shots. Like, she hasn't played with an elite point guard, an elite passer. Having the ability to run the floor, Caitlin's going to find you in transition. Being on the most popular team in the league. And she spoke about the fans in Indiana. She spoke highly about the fans in Indiana and the culture, as well as them the Caitlin Clark fans taking over Dallas's arena as well. Yes, we got some Pamela welcome in Kurt Miller because of their past experience. Okay. Kurt Miller. That is a name I've been seeing. Let me catch up in some of the comments, man. Y'all know I feel like I have the best chat on YouTube, and it's all because of you great people. If this is your first time, make sure to hit the subscribe button, comment, like, share, and all that good stuff. And follow us at Brandon Lee TV on social media. Sods is on borrowed time. Yes, and guys, we are discussing like top candidates. Yeah, I mean, if I feel like when when the Dallas Wings came to Indiana, they had to treat that like an official visit for Satsu. Like they had to really, really show her the experience. Like playing in front of a packed house every night, she definitely wants to feel that fan support. Otis, welcome in, welcome in. Could one of the three fired coaches end up the new coach of the Golden State Valkyries? I could see it because there's been some good coaches fired, man. There's been some really good coaches fired that have been around. I definitely could see them looking for an experienced coach to bring that in there. I don't think Sods was trying to lose games. I just think she was always trying to make wins a team win and would always try to bring in the bad players. Yeah, I mean she was loyal to the players she brought with her to a fault, to a point where it was costing this team games and killing the chemistry and the development. She was hindering the development of this young roster. Mitchell is the hero ball player. Leroy welcome in. Hey, we gotta go easy on Kelsey Mitchell. We need a seasoned player at Satu. When Wheeler got her paycheck is too big. She doesn't. Yeah, I will say like Wheeler's great off the like on the bench, bringing the energy, bringing that advice, being a cheerleader. But yeah, at this point in her career, like if they could bring in Satu, that would be huge. That would be such an upgrade at the four. When you talk about the versatility at 6'4", shooting 45% from the three, knocking them down. She can get it off the dribble. She's a tough finisher, like solid frame, stocky frame. She's, a good presence on the court, a calming presence. She would be a good veteran leader for this group as well, adding to the culture that they're trying to establish. I mean, they land solidly, and they're going from exciting young playoff team to legitimate championship contender. I think if they got her, they would be the best. They'd probably be the best offense in the league. And having her former GM, somebody that she's worked with Amber Cox, maybe Amber Cox, she has that inside scoop. Her first two moves: sign Kelsey Mitchell and bring over Sasu from Dallas. Becky Hammond may be free in a few hours. That is hilarious. I genuinely feel like though, speaking of like the aces, the Fever are definitely following that blueprint. In my opinion, I feel like the Fever are the aces like 4 or 5 years ago. Hey man, I did not see the aces. I really, I mean, golly, New York Liberty feel like a team of destiny. Sods didn't want CC to shine, so when we were leading, Sods would bring in Wheeler to run point, allow it to slow it down, and let opponents back in the game. Yeah, I mean, she was a ball stopper. She was an absolute chemistry killer. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. But yeah, the Fever GM, I mean, Sabali would be a great addition for this group. Could you imagine a starting five with Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, Sabali, and Aaliyah Boston? Bro, nobody is stopping that lineup. I mean, you got Boston Anchor in the paint. You got four players that can create and score and shoot the three. Aaliyah Boston's working on that three-pointer too. I'm just saying. And then they pull. This is a power move. And then they pulled the GM from Dallas to come take over. No way they don't make a push for Sabali. There's no way they don't make a major push for her. Yes, she can run rim to rim. 3-level player, gets up and down the court, and can defend. And the effort on the glass, the effort just playing defense. Alyssa Smith would be looking lost half the time out there. We know, like, Sabali's going to be engaged. She ain't in no off the court drama. Like, she's just there to play basketball. This would be an elite pickup. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about Dallas coach getting fired. Hey, who said bringing Reggie Miller? Leroy, I'm glad you said that. So, like, looking at more candidates, I think we got to talk about Reggie Miller. And first off, shout out to this iconic photo. I'm just saying, man. This is the one I had. Much for being here, joining the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. I know it's been a few days since we've been live, but welcome back. But yeah, talking about Reggie Miller taking over as the next head coach, they would have to pry him from TNT. But you talk about a guy that understands the culture of Indiana basketball in this franchise. He's a legend with the Pacers, probably the greatest Pacer of all time. He's renowned in Indiana. They love him. He'd be a big name, big hire. He was an elite player. He understands the game. We don't know if there's not coaching experience. We don't know how he is as a developer of talent, but understanding and being able to relate with Caitlin as a shooter to shooter, and having someone that has played in an elite level, that has a high basketball IQ, that can share some tricks of the trade. I think Reggie Miller absolutely has to be talked about as a candidate. I know people have mentioned Mark Jackson too, but don't sleep on Reggie Miller, man. Definitely. That is one of the people that I think they have to consider as well. Bring in Reggie Miller, one of the best shooters of all time, and he definitely knows transition. I would like to see Aves, Kate Hudson on Fever. The fire between her and CC is magic. Can't see how though they don't use her at all though. What a shame. I hate wasted talent. Cheryl Miller would be great too. Yeah, Cheryl Miller would be an elite pick. Cheryl Miller would be an elite pick. We saw that, with sticking with the Miller family, how she really coached Caitlin. They brought her off the street, threw her in, gave her a roster of all stars, and she went and beat Team USA, a team that had been practicing for quite some time. Somebody from the Miller family. But does Reggie even want to get into coaching? Like, he has no coaching experience, really. So, is that something that he would even want to pursue, leaving TV to, do that? I think he would be a great, great addition to this staff, though. I think they should at least have a conversation, have an interview, I would say. Chris, welcome in, welcome in. We got Chris and Top Gun, two of our members in the building. Man, I appreciate y'all. Much love. Welcome in. Hey, better late than never. Yes. Hey, and we were talking about that, Chris. Like, does her bringing in Amber Cox from Dallas, does this help their chances of bringing in Satu Sabali now in free agent? Does this help their chances? I'm going to put a poll up. Let's get a poll up. Let me get a poll up. Let me get a poll up. Let me get a poll up. So we had the first one. Did Christie decides do enough to keep her job? Most of you said, hell no. She's got to go. Appreciate y'all participating. But yeah, I mean, I think Reggie Miller would be a great name to replace Christie Side. You talk about somebody that is loved in Indiana. Loved in Indiana. But does he want to get into coaching? And do you have time for him to learn how to be a coach? I could definitely see her getting cored. I mean, you just don't let an elite player like that go away. And Dallas could end up with the #1 draft pick. So you add in a Paige Beckers to that roster with Sabali as well as Natasha Howard, who could be a free agent as well, and Enrique. Like, yeah, that's major. That Dallas situation might be tough for her to walk away from. I'm not gonna lie. So we'll put that for the Sabali talk. But yeah, I think Reggie Miller, I mean, a legend. He could run for mayor in Indiana, probably governor. I think, if there's not like a lot, I feel like of former NBA players that have had success as head coaches in the W. But Reggie Miller could be one of them. And we saw like Cheryl, had some success at the college level coaching. She coached the Olympic team. We know she made that connection. But another candidate who's coaching in the Big Three right now. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. Oh wait, wrong one, wrong one. Hold on. Wrong one. I got a surprise. I got a wrench I want to throw into the fold, and y'all let me know. I'm about to drop a name on y'all. Let me get the picture. I'm gonna drop a name, and y'all let me know because I haven't heard a lot about either of these two. So what about Lisa Leslie, who is currently coaching in the Big Three right now? You talk about one of the best WNBA players, the GOAT by a lot of people's standards. Talk about an elite talent, a generational talent that understands the game, that relates with young players, that is respected throughout basketball, men's and women's, who definitely understands the game, who has that competitiveness, that fire about her, who definitely wants to come in and win, who has a championship pedigree. I mean, I feel like Lisa Leslie is not being talked about enough. I feel like Lisa Leslie is not being talked about enough. Y'all make sure to vote on the poll. Hey, Michael, welcome in, everybody. What are the reactions of Lisa Leslie? What is y'all's reaction to Lisa Leslie maybe getting an opportunity? And now, like I said, she's had some success. She's the first woman to ever went to coach and win a championship in the Big Three league. I don't know how much respect y'all are putting on the Big Three league, but I'm just saying she has won a championship out there, and she's only 52 years old, could be there for the long haul. Still has the energy to inspire players. You talk about a two-time WNBA champion, two-time WNBA Finals MVP, three times three-time WNBA MVP, eight-time All-Star, eight-time first-team All WNBA, two-time WNBA blocks leader. She can help those bigs. Think about the coaching, how much better like Aaliyah Boston would if she had Lisa Leslie coaching her, teaching her the tricks of the trade. I think she would develop into more of a superstar than she already is. Like it would be way more beneficial having Lisa Leslie working with you in the post than Coach Sods. I'm just saying. Imagine what she could do for Aaliyah Boston's game, for Dance's game, for Timmy's game. But she was a Big Three champion, like we said, back in 2019. That's where she's been coaching. But it's also like the Big Three league is only a few weeks. Does she want to make the commitment? Does she want to make the commitment, the full time commitment to being a legitimate WNBA coach? So she does the broadcasting. She has her businesses, charities. Like she's doing a lot of other stuff off the court as well. So does she want to make that commitment? Does she want to make that time commitment? Does she want to add that stress? Because Whoever's coaching Caitlin Clark, you're going to be under a microscope that you've probably never experienced before. It's this job for head coach of the Fever is not for the weak. It is not for the weak. You're going to. I mean, you're going into a situation where it's almost like going to coach the Lakers without the championships. Like there's championship expectations. If you are not managing Caitlin Clark right there, the fans are going to be on your rump. You're the most watched team. You're going to get everybody's best shot every single night. Everybody wants to beat the Fever. The Fever are a lot of teams' Super Bowls right now. Terry, welcome in, welcome in. But it's a big commitment. Does Lisa Leslie want that smoke? Does she want that pressure? It's a big difference, I will admit, coaching in the Big Three compared to the WNBA. But her resume is second to none. Her understanding of the game, second to none. How do y'all feel about that? This is not the Big Three, but she has a championship pedigree. Lisa Leslie's won at every level. So I think she could definitely be a contender for that job. Another coach that I've been seeing too, man. Well, I would say like your first head coaching job, they may want to go with somebody more experienced than who I'm about to bring up. But I'm just saying, your first coaching job being the head coach of the Fever, that is a lot of pressure. Do they have time for another young coach? That's one thing that may be hindering Christie's sides, man, is the fact that she is a young coach. She's only in her second year, and she got better throughout the year, man, but she really couldn't get any worse. But another coach, or another coaching candidate, I should say. What about Rebecca Lobo? What about Rebecca Lobo? I think there could be some mutual interest there. I definitely think she wants to be a coach in WNBA. She said it. What about Rebecca Lobo though? That's another coach I think that could come in that would be able to manage Caitlin, manage this backcourt. How do y'all feel about that? Rebecca Lobo has been a really big advocate for Caitlin Clark. She's been a really big advocate. I will say that. She's been in Caitlin's corner. She's offered advice. I think she's been kind of like one of those legends that was one of the first to kind of embrace Caitlyn. Called a lot of her games, understands her game. Like, there's nobody that we've mentioned on this list has probably seen Caitlyn play more than Rebecca Lobo, other than Lisa Flutter. She's only 50 years old. We know, played at UConn, was just an elite talent in college, same as Caitlyn. Learned under Gina Auriemma. Was a WNBA All Star, NCAA champion, Player of the Year. Coming in with a lot of accolades herself, has really been in the media world. But played for USA Basketball, has played at the national level, has played in the WNBA, big time college star, understands the game. Great personality, great energy, great knowledge on the game. If you turn into her broadcast, yeah, talking to no game adjustments, it's wicked out here. And I mean, like, I'm not young in age, but just young as in experience as a head coach is more so what I'm saying. But I definitely think Rebecca Lobo like should be in consideration for a job like this as well, without a doubt. Accent says no Geno Ball. No Geno Ball. Hey, Geno Ball don't won championships though. I'm just saying. But yeah, Geno, man, he different. Yeah, the top coaches make like a mil and a half. They definitely not making Don Staley money. They're not making elite college coach money. They're not making Geno money. Duke says Fever getting top four seed in 2025. But yeah, bringing in like a women's hoop legend that just has mad respect, I think would go a long way. Because you're gonna listen to a play. I feel like you're gonna listen to a Cheryl Miller or a Lisa Leslie or Rebecca Lobo, coaching wise and basketball advice. Like them three compared to Christie Sides, I would be listening to them with anything regarding basketball. Yeah, I could definitely see a top four seed. They gotta upgrade this roster though, man. They gotta upgrade this roster, guys. Y'all, if this is your first time, welcome into the Live with Brandon Blakely podcast. I am your host, Brandon Blakely, aka Brandon Lee TV. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, comment, like, share, all that good stuff, and definitely follow us at Brandon Lee TV on all social media. Yeah, she definitely didn't let go. I said that at the beginning. Troy welcome in. Yeah, she got a promotion. Well, she's really got like kind of a promotion almost. You know. Yeah, they gotta make some serious moves, man. Fever definitely gotta make some serious moves in free agency. And thought you could definitely be a major player in that. But also, I know somebody mentioned Larry Bird. And that was somebody I thought deserves some consideration. I mean, he's done an amazing job with Indiana and helping build that roster and being an advisor for them. You talk about a guy, a person that can really put together a roster and somebody famous in the state of Indiana. Like Reggie definitely famous, but man, come on now. Larry Bird being from Indiana, it hits different. And y'all see like how they're managing Tyrese Halliburton out there in Indiana. Like the Indiana Pacers are really a similar team to the Fever as well. So I think he could come right in, play fast, push that team, give Caitlin some elite advice pointers. Bird is hard nosed. We know he's a competitor. He ain't going for no nonsense either. He is not going for any nonsense. But that is also something that you have to consider, man. Like at this age for Larry Bird, does he want to really give that full time commitment as a coach? It seemed like if he wanted to be a coach, like it would have already happened. But maybe they, you don't close mouths don't get fed. But yes, at almost 70 years old, does he really want to be a coach? Does he want to be under the spotlight and deal with the hassle? I don't think so, Troy. We talking about like for first, like I don't know, man. I think you're gonna want somebody experienced. If you're gonna bring in a college coach, I think it's gonna be one of three people. I think it's probably gonna either be Dawn Staley to get a WNBA head coaching job if she were to ever leave South Carolina. Kenny Brooks would be another name that I would throw out there. And then you look at Kara Lawson out of Duke. Those would be like my top candidates to if anybody was gonna get plucked away from the college game, it would be one of those three coaches in my opinion. But yeah, Larry, the age, bro, like he's 67 years old. Is he really trying to be about that life of coaching Caitlin Clark, coaching this young group? Does he relate to women's hoopers? We've never really seen Larry associated with the women's game before. But Larry does have a backbone, that is for sure. He's not going for any nonsense. He's going to run a tight ship. The size experiment was a disaster. I mean, she's just lucky that this group is so talented, man. I'm not gonna lie. She's just lucky that this group, she has an elite level of talent because they saved her, but she did not make this team any better. She did not make this team any better. I know Mark Jackson was another name that was thrown around. I don't see Dawn Staley leaving South Carolina, but her Kara Lawson, I think, would be a great addition for this team. I know people mentioned the Drake coach as well, which I don't really think makes any sense because you don't go from coaching Drake to coaching the Indiana Fever. No disrespect to the Bulldogs, but come on now, bro. Yeah, you definitely don't have time for a coach to learn how to be a coach with this team. This group has to be in win now mode. This is win now mode. You have no years to waste. But I think even like a Mark Jackson, man, I think would be great for this organization. It feels like he's pretty much been blackballed out of the WNBA, which is, I mean, out of the NBA, I should say, which is crazy. But the Warriors are not the Warriors without Mark Jackson. I'm gonna just put that out there right now. But yeah, I think that's another one. But Kenny Brooks just taking that Kentucky job. Maybe he's a name of interest. He runs a pro style offense. We saw him with Georgia Moore, helped her turn into one of the best, if not the best point guard coming back next year. We saw how he operated in the pick and roll. She's a pass first guard who has really good range. His offense has been really successful at Virginia Tech, ACC champion, made the Final Four. And then Kara Lawson's building something special at Duke. I don't know if she would want to leave. And I mean, she's making more than a lot of the WNBA coaches as well. They're having a really good run right now. Young roster coming back. They just signed another 5-star recruit today. Is she gonna want to leave? I don't know. That's the thing. You're gonna have to bring the funds, and you're gonna have to really lay out the red carpet. I think for these college coaches. That's what I'm saying. You definitely got to bring the funds. Mark Jackson would be basically doing this thing pro bono compared to what he makes probably doing broadcasting as well as in the NBA as a former coach. Like, yeah, you definitely need somebody that. Well, first of all, you're gonna have to pay some money. You're definitely gonna have to pay some money. That is for sure. You're gonna have to pay some money. You are absolutely gonna have to pay some money. The top coaches in the WNBA right now are making like 1.5. So Mark Jackson would have to do it for the love of coaching. He would absolutely have to do it for the love of coaching. But you talk about a fiery guy who's no nonsense, strong personality, strong presence, leader in the locker room, about his morals, about his ethics, not shy about talking about his faith. Like he's bringing that old school coaching back to the game if they were to get somebody like him. Would he relate to those young players though? Would he relate to women's hoops? I don't know. Problems with Christie Sods. She wants to run a half court style of basketball. Kaylin wants to run a 7 seconds or less run and gun style offense, plus holding on to the lead, nearly blew a 30-point lead. Yeah, and we see with Coach Mark Jackson, like his style would be like that. Look how the Warriors were looking with Steph. Like he's coached a talent like Caitlin Clark, already a player similar to her. So he understands her talents, he understands her capabilities, he understands how to manage point guards. He played the point guard position, one of the top assist leaders in NBA history. He knows about dishing the rock. So I think that would be a great fit system wise. He's going to let them run. They're going to be able to play 5 and out sometimes, 4 and out, 4-1. They're going to push the pace. And he really lets his point guards play. I mean, we saw Steph Curry and Monte Ellis and how that worked out. So Mark Jackson, definitely a great coach of guards, in my opinion, and he's bringing that point guard knowledge. Christie Todd's never played. Like it's different when you've played professional, you've played at the highest level, and you play the same position. Like I think Mark Jackson is going to be better at developing a point guard than Coach Christie Stotts would be, flat out. I'm just being honest. So yeah, I think that would be an interesting pick. But the money, the money, you're going to have to pay some money. Like I said, Mark Jackson would have to do this thing damn near pro bono what he's used to making. And does he want to? I mean, he said that he had some interest in the past in coaching women's basketball. So I don't think it's as far fetched as some people might think. Guys, welcome in. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time, welcome into the Live with Brandon Blakely podcast. Of course, I am your host, Brandon Blakely, aka Brandon Lee TV. Make sure to kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me. Hey, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Subscribe, like, comment, follow us at Brandon Lee TV. Duke says Taurasi definitely playing another year. Y'all think Diana Taurasi? I mean, she hasn't announced anything, but everybody was acting like this year was a farewell tour. I don't know. Do y'all think she's coming back? Y'all feel like she got some unfinished business? Or if she did come back, is it at the point where she could be ruining her legacy as one of the all-time greats? She just needs a high IQ. She needs your players like Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark. I feel like have the highest basketball IQs on the roster. You need a coach with a basketball IQ to be able to match theirs. You need a coach with an IQ to be able to match theirs. Tamika Catchings, okay. I'm not mad at that. Talking about another WNBA legend. I'm not mad at that. So when you talk about Tamika Catchings, I mean, drafted by the Indiana Fever, arguably the best player in franchise history, played for the Fever from 2002 to 2016, won a championship in 2012, was the Finals MVP, was the WNBA MVP in 2011, 10-time All Star, 5-time All WNBA second team, 7-time All WNBA first team. And when you talk about the backbone of the Fever organization, you can't talk about the Indiana Fever without mentioning Tamika Catchings. You literally can't even mention them without mentioning Tamika Catchings. I think she would be a home run hire. She's helped out Tennessee as well. I think you would have to at least gauge the interest there. I think you absolutely got to gauge the interest there. But without Tamika Catches, man, there's no Indiana Fever. You talk about somebody that understands the culture, that is beloved, that is celebrated, that is appreciated, that led this franchise to the highest of highs, the best that they've ever been. Catchings would be elite. Executive experience, only 45 years old, relates to young players, is heavily respected. Oh, I think she would be a home run hire. I think Catchings would be a home run hire, and I think they would welcome her back with open arms. And I love she's the youngest person that we've mentioned so far, 45 years old. She's that auntie, that big sis. She's not too far removed from this youthful group to not relate to what they're going through. Yeah, I think Tamika Catchings would be a home run hire. Duncanville, Texas own. And we already know she has a relationship with Caitlin Clark as well as Leah Boston. Like, she's been around this organization. She was also a Rookie of the Year as well. She shouted out Caitlin as well as Leah Boston, former Rookie of the Year as well. She's followed this team. She's been an avid supporter of this team. She was around for playoffs. She's defended Caitlyn when she's taken cheap shots. She's come out and defended Caitlyn as well. So there's already a rapport there. There's already a relationship there with Caitlyn, which is like one of the most important things when you're talking about the Indiana Fever. Two franchise players, two franchise greats that came to the Fever and really elevated this franchise, man. Like, if anybody can relate to playing with the Fever, I think she would be good for Kelsey Mitchell as well. Someone that saw the ups and downs with the Fever, that was drafted by the Fever, went through some tough years, and built this franchise up. She will be able to relate. And seeing her usher and lead the second coming of the Indiana Fever, the rise, the resurrection of this Indiana Fever franchise, would be one of the greatest stories in sports. I'm going to be honest. That would be sensational. Yeah, DT coaching would be fun. I think, honestly, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I think Diana Taurasi would be an elite college coach. I think she would be a really, really good college coach. DT definitely would be a really good college coach, in my opinion. I think she would be a better college coach than WNBA player or WNBA coach. Excuse me. I think she would be a better college coach than WNBA coach. I'm talking about DT. But yeah, Catchings would be a home run hire. Absolutely. I would love that. I would love that move. That would be major. Now, I know we talked about how they really need a coach with experience, and that is not Catchings. But from everywhere else, I mean, she was vice president of basketball operations and a general manager for the Indiana Fever from 2020 to 2022. So she, she's worked with the franchise, has that executive experience, which is not the same as coaching, but I think it could still be beneficial for sure. That's what I'm saying. Maybe she is the heir apparent to replace Gino, accent. I think she would be elite as the next face of UConn. That would be exciting. Oh, Top Gun, man! I'm a Minnesota Lynx fan. I'm not a Chicago Sky fan. Hey, I'm Lynx all day, baby. Minnesota Lynx. I don't, I don't have a dog in the fight. I just love the W. But yeah, DT at UConn would be so elite. I mean, you talk about someone that won there, that embodies that tough, hard nosed, get in your face, fiery competitor. All the young players look up to DT, watched her growing up. UConn legend, recruiter. I mean, imagine Diana Taurasi coming into your living room and asking you to come play ball with her, one of the most historic universities in women's college hoops history. Maybe the most. Like, it's gonna be tough as a guard, as any player, as an elite recruit in high school to tell Diana Taurasi, no, I'm not trying to come to UConn and play for you. I think she would be an elite recruiter, elite developer of talent, showing them practice habits, giving them an impact to let them know what's expected at the next level if they're trying to make it there. Yeah. Man, it would be cool to see her be an assistant with them right now, to be honest. Yeah, y'all let me know. Y'all let me know in the comments. That would be really cool though. Diana Taurasi at UConn would be very elite. I think she would be great. Gino's definitely getting up there in age, but it doesn't really feel like he's slowing down anytime soon. That's the thing. It does not feel like Gino is slowing down. Yeah, I think she could be a home run recruiter. She would be getting all types of recruits to come to UConn, man. I'm telling you. And they'd already know who she was before she walked in the door, obviously. Man, shout out Nika Mule was playing overseas, had a great debut, first game, and tore her ACL. Hoping that she comes back stronger, man. She's a young player. I wanted to see her get more action with the Storm, man. I think she's a player, great 3-point shooter, great defender on the perimeter, as first point guard. She could have helped him this year. She had that whole visa situation going on too and missed some games. Like, it was a really up and down first year, and she stayed resilient. Went overseas. I was excited for her to actually get some playing time and move forward and get some development, some reps, since she really didn't play a lot this year. Hey, I hate that she would. I hated that she tore her ACL and at like a terrible time, like during the off season, right after the WNBA season. Yeah, man. I do think Nika Mule will work her way back though. I think she will be on the WNBA roster. Absolutely. Yeah, she's a WNBA player. She's a talent. She's a grinder. She's gritty. She's hard nosed. She'll come back. Yo, Russell, they definitely got a chance, man. I'm excited to see Sarah Strong, North Carolina's own. Y'all know that's my home state. Excited to see her. Maddie Zabel, Morgan Kelly. That freshman class is going to be exciting. You get AZ back. Aubrey Griffin, Paige Becker's probably player of the year this year if Juju doesn't win. And they made some adjustments to the strength and conditioning staff and their training staff, their athletic training staff. Because the injuries were out of control last year for UConn, man. The injuries were out of control. It wasn't that they had players that were injury prone. Something wasn't right. The staff was failing them. You don't lose half your roster the season into injuries like that. But, KK Arnold, Ashlyn Shade, like, they got a mob coming back. Janelle Alfie, like, UConn definitely this will be, in my opinion, one of the best teams Gino has coached in quite some time if they can stay healthy. I got them right at number 2 behind South Carolina, USC third, probably Texas, UCLA 4, 5, Notre Dame probably in that top 5 too. Yeah, I think Nika Mew can definitely make a comeback. She was sensational at UConn last year. I think they have a mob coming back this year, and I definitely will be cranking out the college basketball content with the season really coming up very, very soon. I got y'all on that. Yeah, I don't think USC is going to be surprising anybody. They loaded. They are absolutely loaded. Any overseas games? The only overseas games I watched were when Wimby was playing in France. Other than that, I have not. No, I haven't talked none. Anybody else in the chat? Anybody else in the chat watch any overseas games? Yeah, Nika does like CC, and Nika low key one of the freshest. She's literally one of the freshest, like best dressers in the WNBA. We gotta put some respect on her game, cause she be putting that ish on. But yeah, I don't think USC is gonna be surprising anybody. They got a mob. They got an absolute mob coming back. And I think Iowa will be a lot better as well than people think, man. They're going to be fine without Caitlin Clark. I'm going to be honest. Lucy Olson is the business. You still got Hannah Stokey there. Sydney Falter. Like, Iowa will be just fine, but the Big Ten is going to be nuts. Please do conference by conference preview for preview chats for college. Hey, I got you. We'll start those in the coming weeks, Accent. Well, we will definitely do that. We'll start with SEC and Big Ten. I got you. Got you locked in. Appreciate the support. Guys, if this is your first time, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff to stay up with the latest and the greatest of the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Of course, I am your host, Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Follow us at Brandon Lee TV. Yeah, Jazzy Davidson going to USC. They loading up. They are loading up. Yeah, I think. I really think Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo could be the best backcourt in the league or in the country next year. And you got Sonia Citron coming back as well. Kate Koval in the post. They finally got a legitimate big to play next to Maddie Westbed, a rebounder. Yeah, no, Notre Dame is absolutely stacked. Notre Dame is my dark horse to win the national title. But yeah, Roger definitely can't sleep on Iowa. Yeah, definitely can't. Definitely can't. Well, guys, we have been on for about an hour and 15. I appreciate y'all. I think Haley Van Lith has a bounce back year. I think she has a bounce back year, and they got the guard from Kentucky coming there too as well. If TCU can stay healthy, they had a really good team last year. If they can stay healthy, I think they'll be really good in the Big 12. And you don't got Texas or Oklahoma there anymore either. So I'm just saying, TCU I think should be probably one of the favorites to win the Big 12. But we'll get into more college previews. We're going to call it a night, though, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in, liking, subscribing, commenting, and just, man, showing so much love. Make sure to continue to just support the channel, rock with me. I appreciate y'all. None of this is possible without all you great people, man. So thank y'all. We will have more lives this weekend. I will definitely start cranking out the college previews, maybe even as early as next week. We're just trying to get through those WNBA playoffs. But man, I appreciate y'all, man. RC, thank you. Much love, much love. They hanging in there. They hanging in there. We gonna see the champs today. Ain't the champs no more, RC. Top Gun, thank y'all so much, man. I appreciate y'all. That is a wrap for us. Until next time, Damon, much love, my guy. We out.